Welcome to From Beyond with your host, Glenn Boddice. Join me as we explore spirituality, self-help, and channeling spirits. Hello and welcome to From Beyond with your host, Glenn Boddice, spiritual medium. Thank you for once again tuning in, as in this week's episode we're going to be looking into the subject matter of help them on their way home. Also in this week's episode we have the channeling from the world of spirit, which sees me becoming a vessel for spirit to bring their communications and wisdom through. And then later on in the show we have this week's energy forecast reading, which will hopefully help you navigate your way through the twists and turns of this week ahead as it unfolds. So as I say, we're going to be discussing the topic, help them on their way home. What am I talking about when I say that statement? I'm talking about souls, spirits that are maybe stranded or lost or attached in some way, shape or form to the location that they're in, or perhaps they're connected to an individual. They could be connected to an object, simply because of all the emotion, all attachment. Maybe there's some historic reference between that location, that person, or that object that's keeping that lost soul in limbo, trapped, not able to move on. And again, it's all down to free will as well, because sometimes on many levels, the soul doesn't always recognize that they've passed over. They just continue to live in a perpetual cycle of a loop, shall we say, the thing's repeating itself, and it can be very frustrating for them as they're treading water and can't seem to find a way out of this Groundhog Day, so to speak. Some souls choose not to move over simply because of they feel as if there's going to be some level of retribution for whatever has occurred in their life, and they're not willing to face that, and they're afraid of any consequences that may come their way. Just the level of thought processes there that are keeping them trapped in that loop cycle there. So that's what we're talking about today. So first of all, how do you know that you have a lost soul or a spirit that's in this cycle of attachment? Well, first of all, recognize the signs within the location. Or maybe it could be around an object. If that object, for example, if you've gone to a second-hand auction house, or you've gone to a market or even a charity shop and you brought some second-hand goods there, and you bring those second-hand goods home, and then all of a sudden you start to experience having some rather peculiar things happening within your home or the location there. It's recognizing these signs, basically, and then doing a little bit of detective work. You know, when did I buy that object? When did these things start to occur? And some of these signs can be more obvious than others. In my experience, it can start off very subtly, like things moving. Maybe you place something somewhere and then nobody's been in the home and all of a sudden it's moved. Or maybe you're hearing bangs or knocking, very gentle to start with, or tapping. You know, like when someone taps on either a radiator or window pane with the tips of their fingernails, it makes a clicking, rapping kind of sound, doesn't it? Maybe look out for things like that occurring around a similar time of day. Obviously, what I'd like you to do is not jump to conclusions and assume, oh, it's a spirit that needs passing over. No, not at all. You need to debunk it first. So first of all, you need to make sure that the radiators, the heating, the pipes aren't rattling or making that clicking sound. Also, expansion within the home. What I'm talking about there is wood, obviously. door frames, wood, it can contract with the temperature, with the energy change, with the dampness in the air there as well. And obviously no vibration in the property. You may live near a busy road, or you may have traffic parking up, lorries going by, that can cause vibration, that can make you think this. So rule out all of those things before you go down this avenue. But what you will find is if this is an object you brought in the home, or if it is indeed your home, somebody else's home, or even a location that you're visiting, upon regular monitoring of that location or that item, or even the person, upon monitoring them, you want to look out for different signs. So one of the things is maybe a change in behavior around either yourself or people in the atmosphere at certain times of day. Another way is a change in temperature. You may get moments of feeling hot one minute, then cold the next. And then there's another way to observe is feelings. You may feel like really sad, really down in the dumps all of a sudden, and you've got no reason to feel that way. And then you may start to notice that you go off in like a daydream, and people are shouting you, and you're not quite there. You're not there with it. You're not there present. This also could be a sign there that there is a lost soul. Also, you may encounter smells, quite unusual smells, either floral smells or more unpleasant smells like bodily fluids, that sort of smell. Just come wafting in and out of your location there, or around where you happen to be. And again, monitoring this, making regular checks, looking at the time when it occurred, how you felt, maybe keeping a little journal of these things until it becomes obvious to you that this is happening all the time, and you've ruled out all of the other things. The obvious things, that it's not the electrics, it's not the gas, it's not the condensation or damp within the house, or the expansion of the wood, or even traffic in the location where you live. No vibration or anything like that. When you've ruled all those things out, what I would suggest is, first of all, is when it becomes increasingly obvious that it's there, and like I say, loud, overbearing, maybe you find it difficult to gather your thoughts in that property, and you have to step out of it in order to get your peace, tranquility. When it becomes to that stage, at that stage, what I would advise you to do is speak up. First of all, it doesn't matter if you're a medium, it doesn't matter if you're sensitive, whatever your stance is. I would say speak up, speak out loud, and introduce yourself. Say, I can feel that you're here. I don't know your name. I don't know why you're here, but my name is whatever your name is. Introduce yourself. Tell them a little bit about yourself. Ease them in, because they will feel frustrated. I'm talking about the world of spirit, some of the souls there. They will feel frustrated and a little bit frightened also that you're in that vicinity where they're at that moment in time. So introduce yourself and build that level of trust up and that rapport going. Now, as I've said many times before, spirit will use the path of least resistance. So it doesn't matter whether you are sensitive, whether you're a medium, whatever. Spirit will do their best to communicate with you, and they'll use various methods. The easiest one will be they'll put an emotional response on you. So when you ask or call out or ask them, they'll put an emotional response on you. Now, it's up to you to be observant of how you are naturally feeling, and anything other than that will be a communication from that soul as you're speaking out to them. The next one would be a thought in your mind, a repetitive thought, or indeed, you may get a flash of inspiration. You may get shown an image. I don't know why, but I keep seeing this in my mind. Something like that. You may even hear a song rippling round your mind, and you can't get it out of your head. And in actual fact, the lyrics within that song could be the answer that lost soul or spirit is wanting to convey to you. And the way that they will do that is they'll tap into your vibration, and they'll look through your memory bank. They'll look through your experiences. And out of all of that, rather than them wasting energy trying to give us a clue type of thing, they will utilize the energy and the information within you. So they'll bring that to the surface in your mind. So be aware of all of these things. And obviously, the more advanced soul and the more sort of open that you are, you can experience these lost souls actually physically touching you, maybe making it feel like your hair's being stroked, or the side of your face is being stroked, or maybe you get that feeling as though somebody's behind you when there's nobody there, but you feel that presence. So they can do that. And like I say, for the advanced, such as medium or anybody that can work with clear audience, so clear hearing, you can then hear that direct communication coming in from that lost soul. And they will come forward, you ask the questions out loud, and just listen and observe for either that thought process coming into your mind, or you may hear it with your physical ears, or, like I say, in your mind using clear audience there. So listen out for all of these things, because spirit will be wanting that communication with you. They will be wanting that help. And obviously use your common sense with this, because it's all right me saying everything's sunshine and daisies when there's quite a lot of spirits that are quite mischievous, that will take you down this avenue, making you believe that this is their standing point, when actual fact they're doing it to try and tap in and emit a fear vibration from you so that they can feed from your responses, from your energy. So with me saying that, observe and just, put your street smarts on, basically, with what feels right, what doesn't feel right. But follow this line of inquiry nevertheless. Like I say, observe your feelings. You will get repetitive thoughts as well. That will be a form of communication from the soul. And the reason why they're doing this lost soul, the spirit is trying to tell you their story. One way, shape or form, they're trying to tell you their story. And the reason why they're doing that is to release some of these burdens that they've been carrying, release some of these cords of attachment to either that property, location, the person, or even an object that you brought in within the home. They may be attached to something like that. So listen out and just observe with non-judgment when they bring this information forward. I would advise that you do take some sort of recording device so you can have that there, or ideally just a pen and paper to take notes, because the information can be quite cryptic at times, and when it comes through, it may not make sense. But if you see it on paper or hear it back on a recording, it can start to form a pattern, and then you can start to realize, right, I know why they're telling me that, because this has happened and that has happened, and they feel guilty, and they felt that level of guilt for such a long period of time that they can't see beyond that. So I'm just giving an example now, but yeah, by taking some notes will allow you to put the pieces of their story together. And once they've done this, what you will find is, with you not judging them, because some of the stories that you will hear will be quite menacing, maybe of a lower vibration, but your instincts will actually steer you in the right direction. So even though their story could be quite negative, quite lower based, you can feel that sort of level of hope and that desire to move on and heal. And obviously, if you're not feeling that, then this is potentially a spirit trying to ramp up that level of fear and hostility within you so that they could feed from that energy that you're creating there. So just be observant once you're going through this. But I would say, regardless of the communication you're receiving and getting from that lost soul is to continue to keep your resolve, keep your confidence, and vibrate that high vibration of love. Now, I say this because I've been in many experiences where I've been heckled by spirit, where I've been swore at, where I've had quite a lot of abusive language and intent thrown my way. And this is all because that lost soul or spirit has been quite fearful, because they can sense the vibration of love that I carry and that I bring into that environment. And with love, it brings everything that's of a lower vibration, it brings it up to the surface and makes it more obvious than perhaps it was prior to that vibration of love entering that environment or that location there. So be aware of that. Continue vibrating that level of love, positivity and light, and just be patient. Don't take things personally when a spirit comes in and maybe objectifies you, abusing you with the vocabulary, with any swearing, any bad language there. Don't let this stick to you. Instead, just focus on your light, your love, and the intention that you hold in your heart for this connection that you have with this soul. Now, your intention should be to help them on their way, to rid them of their shackles, to rid them of their burdens emotionally, mentally, energetically. Because let's face it, if you've been around for hundreds of years in the same situation, trying to work it out, and you can't find a way out, you're going to be frustrated, aren't you? There's going to be a few bits of bad language that's going to be used there. And so have that level of patience and understanding and empathy, but don't let their vibrations stick to you. Like I say, keep vibrating the level of love and light, and have that confidence that you are going to help them on their way moving forward. Now, the intensity with that spirit communicator, that lost soul, what you will find is when they've shared their communications with you, their story, their narrative, what you will begin to find is that connection that you have with them. So if you're feeling their vibration around you, it will start to get lighter rather than intensified. You'll notice that it will start to slow down rather than being very rapid with you. And there'll start to be a shift in the atmosphere that you happen to be in whilst you're doing this level of work. And this is because that spirit vibration is getting lighter. They're cutting their own cords of attachment, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, from that location, that object, or that person. It could be either. And so slowly, by speaking up about it, it's almost like a level of spiritual counseling. By speaking up about it, they're releasing those shackles from themselves. And without even realizing, in many experiences that I've had, you're hearing all of these tangents and rants from the soul. Bless them. You can imagine not being able to communicate this information to anybody for hundreds and hundreds of years. Then all of a sudden somebody shows you that light, shows you that listening ear, and gives you that platform to express yourself. So they're going to really, really open up to you. So just allow them to do that. And that sense of relief, like I say, once they've done that, will be absolutely euphoric for them. And this also helps them to vibrate higher, which is your role, basically, is to be that bridge in order for them to open up, to release those shackles, to vibrate higher. And once they've changed their frequency, then it's at this stage when they have that opportunity then to move over into their forever peace, or, into the next stage of their journey on their soul's path there. So that's what you're aiming to do. So encourage them through this process. As you can imagine, Once they start to realize that, hang on a minute, I'm feeling lighter. Hang on a minute, I don't have that feeling anymore. What's happening? It can be quite intimidating, quite frightening for that spirit being, that soul that is communicating with you. So you want to encourage them like you would anybody. You'd say, don't worry, you're fine. Everything's all right. You're safe. You're loved. And maybe bring that up several times. You're loved. Because if you can imagine, this soul maybe have been roaming around, unaware of any other connection, any other soul, any other human. They may have been in this sort of energetic prison of their own making, God bless them, for quite some time. So it's going to be an interesting connection when you start to tell them that actually they are loved, they are appreciated, they're not on their own. And their experience may have been that they have been on their own, like I say, potentially for hundreds of years in this loop. So telling them that will actually make them pause, will make them stop, will make them listen, and even question you and the words that you're using. You may need to calm them down because they may not believe you. They may get that level of fear coming up that, why, I've been on my own for all this time and no one's here and all that, this sort of rant. So you will have to calm them down. Again, you can do this mentally. You can do this with your emotions. Keep sending that vibration of love around them. And I would recommend, the way that I generally work when I'm doing this soul rescue is I speak out loud. I have the communications in my mind, obviously, clairvoyantly and clairaudiently there as well, utilizing all my other gifts, clairsentience, clairgustance, clairalliance, and claircognizance in order to facilitate all of this. But you don't have to necessarily have that level. I would say at baseline level, it's all about you observing as an individual, observing how you feel emotionally, what thoughts are in your head, what you're hearing, what's your natural state of being. And then spirit will communicate with you very subtly, bringing little changes to let you know that they're there. But I would say speaking out aloud helps the intention of the process there. You're opening yourself up. Your voice contains a frequency, an energy within itself. The vibration behind the information contains an intention. And when your intention is one of purity, one of love, one of light and one of healing, and one of helpful intent there, that vibration will go out into that environment, into the ether, or around that object or person that you're working with, that you're trying to help with this soul rescue. So I would recommend that you all speak out loud, encouraging that spirit. You're fine, you're safe, you are loved, you are surrounded by beautiful people. And get them to build that level of trust and confidence up with you, and you'll feel their vibration lightening as a result, getting lighter, less intensified. But what I would suggest as well, that you either encourage them or remind them of their loved ones or their family members, perhaps they haven't seen for decades or even hundreds of years. And it's a case of talking about them with them, reminding them that they are loved, reminding them and asking questions about, maybe their spouse, maybe their mum, their dad, or grandparents, or even children, reminding them of those beautiful times and interactions that they had with them. And then by vocalizing this, reminding them of that fact, observe your feelings. Obviously, if there's a sense of tightness around your physical body and agitation, this is that spirit, that soul there, feeling a little bit intimidated by having to focus in on that connection that they have with their loved ones. So it's a case of being gentle with them, approaching it tactfully, like you would with an individual, a person in the physical world, you would ease them in, not to alarm them, not to intimidate them, but to encourage them. And just allow yourself to observe what you're feeling, any thoughts that are passing through your head, any emotions, even any physical sensations that you may be feeling whilst you're calling out and having this interaction with this lost soul. You may notice that you'll get that tingling sensation, or they call it goosebumps on the arms or the back of the neck. When you're having these interactions, you may notice, as I've already said, your hair or your head being touched, your face being touched. And to most people, this may be quite frightening, quite intimidating, but I wouldn't worry about it. This is just that soul, that spirit, having a stronger link with your vibration to get that communication running through. And also, I would say it's also their way of letting you know that they are listening, and interacting with you. So don't see this as something to be worried about or frightened about. Remember what we were saying earlier about what spirits do and souls will do, is they will use that path of least resistance to bring forward some communication with you. So, for example, if you're not that sensitive and you don't communicate with spirits, such as spiritual mediums do or anything like that, then these souls and spirits will work with what tools you have and what tools you're allowing them to work with. And obviously, we're all familiar with our 5 senses there, aren't we? Our sense of taste, touch, feel, temperature, sight, sound. We're all familiar with all of those. And so they're going to work on the strongest one that you utilize on a daily basis. So if that happens to be, temperature, a temperature change around you, or a sense of touch, because you can feel it, it's there, then they will do that. Don't be alarmed. Don't be intimidated by it. If you're holding your ground and if you're vibrating in that vibration of love and light, like I say, you will have that intention in your voice, in the frequency, as you emit it out into the ether, into that environment. And so they will pick up on that as well. So it's a very beautiful and respectful process. So don't rush the process. Be gentle, be observant, take lots of notes, ask lots of questions, but ask them in a way that they don't feel intimidated by those questions. I mean, if you imagine somebody asking you quick fire round questions, one after the other, it's going to annoy you, isn't it? So you want to do it tactfully, like you would, if you're speaking to someone in the physical sense, and you want to leave that space in the conversation for them to reply. Like I say, the way that they will reply is using that path of least resistance. So leave that space in the conversation and just observe the way that you're feeling and you're experiencing in that moment after that question, and write your responses down on a piece of paper. And then this way you can analyze those responses. Like I said earlier, this will form like a jigsaw puzzle, and it will allow you to put the pieces together to help them and encourage them to speak about certain facets and experiences that they're having. And then with them doing that, that will enable them to release those cords of attachment, those old belief systems, those old energies, so that they can raise their vibration and ascend on a new timeline on their soul's journey there. But finally, what I tend to do when I reach that stage in the soul rescue, I will then call in Archangel Michael and the Band of Mercy for assistance with this soul rescue. And what they will do when you've heightened that lost soul's vibration, when you've listened to their communications, when you've had that interaction with them and you feel that lightness in the atmosphere, what Archangel Michael and the Band of Mercy will do is then quickly take that lost soul back home on their spiritual trajectory, on their timeline, on their path there. And it will happen very, very fast. Sometimes it will it will be that fast that you will actually hear that spirit, that lost soul, going, whoa, because it surprised them. They didn't see it coming. And I've had it in many occasions where that lost soul has swore at me as they're going, whoa, you. And then I won't swear on here, but they've had that language because it shocked them. But later on, I've had confirmation from their loved ones thanking me for being that bridge, and for Archangel Michael and the Band of Mercy for bringing them over. I've even had confirmation from that soul themselves thanking me for being that bridge, and again, for helping them see something that they weren't able to see because their mindset was so fixed and rigid. So it's a beautiful experience. So I just thought I'd share that with you today. For those of you that may be observing strange and peculiar things happening around your home or a location, is something to consider. Well, now we're going to be moving into the next segment of the show, which is this week's channeling from the world of spirit, which sees me becoming a vessel in order for spirit to bring their communications and wisdoms through. And I don't know about anybody else, but as we're moving into this month of May, I've already noticed that the vibrations, the energy is changing, and also the level of communications from spirit, they're adjusting their side of things, as I'm finding that when they're coming through, there's this like little jolt in the communications. So it's very interesting. So based upon that, it's going to be an interesting month. You're feeling into it. Anyway, sit back, relax, and enjoy this week's channeling from the world of spirit.
Thank you for tuning in and listening today. We really appreciate it. We like to talk to you about the subject of energy, vibration, and the fact that all of you listening to this, that is your essential core. You are energy. You are part of the source creator. And you have multiple versions of yourself, and these vibrations, fractals, if you will, of your soul. And each one of these fractals plays a part in your evolution as a soul. Because when you make a decision, or when you don't make a decision, one of these fractals, or all of them, shall we say, carries on existing on that trajectory, that timeline. And when you finalize and come to your transition into the world of energy, vibration, you then assess all of your choices or non-choices that you have made, and all these fractals of your soul and how everything has played out, so to speak. And you make judgments, you do, and assessments upon all of these experiences that you've collated through these choices and non-choices that you've been consciously choosing. So energy is, it moves, it transmutes, and it changes into higher, lower base frequencies. It even disperses into other dimensions, other timelines, as we've previously alluded to saying so. But with this being said, when you do make your ending in the world in a physical sense and move into this non-physical sense of vibration, thought and energy and emotion, then some of these choices, as you may or may not realize, are not to transcend into this world of light. They stay closely to the vibration of the earth, and we're talking about what you would describe as ghosts or spirits, earthbound spirits, spirits that have made that conscious choice, or even on a subconscious level, to stay in their location where they desire to do so. And so even though their physical essence, their physical body has demised and made that transition, some of their choices have dictated that they stay in that earthbound vibration. So they continue to have their encounters and experiences, but through the vibration of formless thought energy. And with that, it can be very confusing. as many of you may have witnessed in your physical lifetime, seeing some of these, shall we say, vibrations in your atmosphere. We're talking about spirits that are earthbound. You may have noticed it and may have picked up upon that frustration and that anger and that confusion in the vibration in the atmosphere that you have been in. And we say to you that please be kind, please be gentle. Not every one of these vibrations are of a negative, lower vibration. It's simply down to the fact that on some level, whether that's conscious or in the subconscious element of the soul, they have made this decision not to transcend into the greater collective of light. So be kind, be gentle, and have that respect at all times. Now, there is, on the other hand, lots of vibrations of a lower based negative underlining, where these vibrations could be very abusive, very domineering, based in the vibration of fear, even lower, a lower vibration. Now, even though this is the case, we would certainly advise you to stand your ground and don't be succumb or enchanted by these entities, these spirits, into lowering your guard and your vibration. Instead, we advise you to continue on that trajectory of speaking with respect, with love, but also setting boundaries of what you will and will not take in terms of communication, in terms of ridicule, in terms of the personal attacks that some of these spirit beings try to inflict upon you. The reason for doing that is because they are scared on some level, and so they're trying to manufacture through your vibration the vibration of fear, because you must understand they have rejected source energy on some level, and so the only means of their sustenance is to create that in which they are projecting, which is fear-based energy, and that becomes their sustenance for them to be able to exist and survive in their experience. Having said that, there are those that have taken this pathway as a result of karmic lessons that need to be given and gifted to the greater collective, so that there is contrast in their decision to make a heightened decision or an alternative choice. And these choices continue to move on, even though you move into your spirit body. A lot of you assume that because you move into your spirit body, that's me done, that's me all over with, and that's all my lessons complete. I can now put my feet up and rest. And we say to you, no, that's not the case at all. You're continually evolving, expanding, making choices, taking responsibility, and also experiencing the other side of not taking responsibility. So you continue to tread this path of evolution, even without a physical body, because you have your etheric body, your energetic body, in order to transcend all different dimensions. So although you're having this experience in your earthbound dimension, there are many dimensions. Excuse me for coming in. I've just come in on that train of thought there. But anyway, there are many dimensions in which you traverse through, and you can do this, as we've said to you, both in your physical and non-physical body. You have the choice. Many of you will have experienced the experience of daydreaming, where you've been there in your present physical body, yet your etheric body has been transcending alternate dimensions and universes. And when you do come back into your physical body, most of you are quite stunned and feel quite peculiar, and it takes you a while to readjust to the physical body, because you have been, for brief moments in your timeline, formless. You've navigated yourself into alternate realities. We would say that when you go through these experiences, there's a great transformation within your vibration as a soul in your physical body, because you will start to emit higher vibrations, and you're bringing forward those higher vibrations into your earthbound physical body. This, as a result, will either repel certain individuals because they will not be able to stand in your vibration or be in alignment with your vibration because it feels very increasingly uncomfortable to them. Yet there will be those pockets of society that will be like moths to a flame, and they will flock around your vibration, hanging on every word that you speak. And even if you're not speaking, your vibration is also communicating a frequency to them, which will also attract their vibration. So we say all of you have the capability of moving and going into alternate realities and dimensions whilst you're in your physical body. And you do this from allowing yourself to slip off and then come back again. Most of you experienced doing this when you was in your teenage years and you was in your school, your earthbound schools. And for whatever reason, the information you was being pointed to or taught was not aligning with your soul. And so your soul went elsewhere through the medium of daydreaming to an alternate reality, a universe to where you would obtain wisdom and vibrational codes and frequencies that would help you and would help you ascend. So even though in your earthbound incarnation you would have got ridiculed for daydreaming and not paying attention in class, in actual fact you was learning. It's just the fact that your soul had elected to learn elsewhere for that moment in your earthbound time. We understand that this can sound rather peculiar to most of you, but we will want you to understand that in every moment is never wasted. We always take advantage of those moments when you feel that you are not doing anything in your physical dimension. You would call it relaxing, having time out. What you will or will not know is that during that time, your soul is going elsewhere for its upgrades, for its ascension codes, and also for other forms of learning and inspiration. So the next time that you have elements of rest or downtime in your physical life, know that this is where your soul is moving into higher realms of evolution, and you will bring back those codes and those inspirations back into your physical present moment reality. So, we want to end this conversation with you today by telling you all how tremendously proud we are of you, and that you are to keep chipping and moving forward in incremental steps. We want to assure you that even though you may think that you are not getting anywhere in your life and you're assuming that you're treading water and you're in the same place, the same situation, the same set of circumstances, we assure you that you are not. It's a question of time that your physicality is catching up with your non-physical part of you, which is your soul. So have that level of patience and trust the process. You will notice that your soul will be connected to your timeline, and will also experience the confidence which is needed in order to step forward in different directions on your timeline, yet your physicality hasn't caught up with that vibration. Some may experience connecting with a future partner, a timeline in which you are together as one, as a couple, as a family. And yet in your physical being, you are not experiencing that at your earthly moments in time. And we assure you that it's a case of your physicality catching up to that reality. You will have the stirrings, the emotions, the understandings, and that togetherness feeling, even though it's not there in your physicality. We advise you to trust in the feelings that you feel, and to also trust in the universe, aligning every part of your lives together so that you can create that divine union in love and in source. We thank you for listening to us today, and we hope this has given you some train of thought where you can explore facets of yourself that you haven't given yourself permission to uncover yet. We send our love and we send our healing. Goodbye for now.
What a fantastic communication there from Spirit. It's always nice to hear them reminding us that we are energy and that we also have multiple versions of ourselves, all happening at the same time. So when we make a choice, that version of ourselves, although we feel as though we've moved into a different timeline, that old version of ourselves continues to exist and play out, and it adds to the greater collective. So it's wonderful to hear about that, and also that we're constantly changing and evolving there. Nice to hear about lost souls and to be more respectful when we communicate with them or are aware of their presence, simply because that they've made that choice, either consciously or subconsciously, to remain earthbound. So just show that level of appreciation and trust there. And also unpacking the understanding of daydreaming there. I found that fascinating, that we're traveling in different dimensions whilst we're doing that. So now we're going to move into the next segment of the show, which is this week's energy forecast reading. So sit back, relax, and enjoy this week's reading. Hello, my name is Glenn Boddice and I'm a spiritual medium, and welcome to this week's energy forecast reading for the week commencing Monday, the 6th of May, 2024. Now, those of you that have watched me work before will know that I connect with my spirit guides and helpers, and also connect with the wisdom of the angel tarot cards. So what I'm about to do is just shuffle the pack and allow a card to come out for this week's forecast reading. So here is your card. I'm now going to link into the vibration of that. First of all, I'm being told to tell you that recognize the changes in your own evolution this week. And what my guides mean by that is that you'll have the exclusivity, is what they say, exclusivity, if that's such a word, of you changing your mind at any one moment. At the last minute, you'll just change on a dime and say, oh, I'm sorry, I can't make that, I'm not doing that. And this is because you're coming into your truth of who you are, your true vibration. And when you do that, you'll notice that some of the things that you used to enjoy are no longer aligning with you. So I feel as though you're going to be making a few, not excuses, but you're just going to be bringing some truths forward to say, I'm sorry, I've changed my mind on that. So watch out for that this week. Also, I'm hearing that song called Thorn in My Side. I believe it was by a band called Eurythmics. So that is talking about somebody or something connected in your life that's actually drawing your energy, that's pulling your vibration down, and just making you feel at a very low ebb because of this connection that you have with either that individual or that project or whatever it is. There's something that's pulling your energy down. So watch out for that this week. And actually, I'm being told that it will encourage you to make more of a snap decision, saying, I don't want this anymore. This is not for me. I'm moving forward. I'm saying no to that vibration. So in many respects, you're standing in your truth and in your own power. It's going to confuse a few people actually observing you because they assume that you're the same person all the time. But in actual fact, you've changed. And it's the start of this month that it has been the catalyst for it to be moving forward in your present moment consciousness. Also, what I'm being told to tell you is watch out for your words this month. Rather than reacting and just saying something to defend yourself, my guides are saying practice the pause. So maybe count to 10. As we were taught when we were younger, count to 10, think it through, feel into your response, and then respond accordingly from that perspective of love. That way you'll be avoiding conflict and getting yourself in further issues, and you'll be holding your vibration more high vibrational by doing that. I'm also being told to tell you, watch out for your nose this week. And what they mean by that is smelling. So you'll be smelling more so this week. And I'm talking about you picking up on fragrances in and around the vicinity that you happen to be in at that moment in time. And that's pretty normal, I hear everybody say. But in actual fact, these smells and essences are coming from the world of the unseen, from the world of spirit. And I feel that some of these smells are connected into your childhood, and they're going back to family members who have made their transition, who are now in the world of spirit. And I feel as though you will pick up on their vibration, and they will bring forward these smells this week to let you know that you're not on your own and that you are supported. Watch out for yourself feeling a little bit lethargic and also dizzy as well. And what this means is it's you needing to recalibrate, needing to drink more water, more fluids, and also it's rest when you can is what I'm being told to tell you. So let's turn over the card and see what the card has to say for you. At the top of the card we have the angel number of 17. So I'd like you to research the angel number of 17, as that will give you some additional support and information at this moment in time. I'm also encouraged to tell you to add the two digits even together. 1 and 7 is 8, and which is also the infinity symbol when you turn it on its side there as well. So please research that. Underneath that it says the star. It's talking about you reclaiming your power back, seeing what an impact that you do have on the world. And in actual fact, with you recognizing this, you're going to hold yourself in more of a higher esteem. And this will connect in with what my guides were saying earlier about you actually changing your mind at the last minute. And this is you understanding your own worth and recognizing that those people that are asking things of you aren't recognizing your worth. So it's about you changing your mind and taking your power back. Underneath that, we have Archangel Jophiel. So let me feel into the vibration of that. I'm just feeling self-love, appreciation, and setting healthy boundaries, which would connect in with the star, what my guides have also said there as well. So reading at the bottom of the card, it reads, happy times make positive, optimistic, long-term plans on the right path. Wow. So that would go in alignment with what my guides were saying. You're coming into this new connection with your truth of who you are, and you're going to be changing your mind, making more heartfelt decisions that actually honor your true self there. So let's take a look into the artwork of the card. As you can see around the edges, we've got blue there, so that would indicate to me combination of things. One, going with the flow, stop resisting these changes. It is for your betterment. Two, it's in connection with your emotions coming to the surface. This could also link in with what my guides were saying about you feeling a little bit lightheaded and dizzy and needing to recalibrate and have more water there. And also it's talking about communication. It's talking about the throat chakra. And we actually said earlier about you practicing the pause, holding your breath, count to 10, feeling to your response, and then respond from a place of love and higher vibrations rather than just reacting. So that's what I feel the colour of blue represents. Looking into the artwork there, we have this beautiful angelic maiden, feminine there. That's talking about your sensitive side there, and honouring it as well, and listening to it and actually bringing it into form and into action there by doing that. Knowing what's right for you has just been told to me by my spirit guides. Looking at her wings are fully open there. It reminds me of a butterfly, so that would indicate transformation, a time of change. It's now time to spread your wings. It's now time to own that confidence and stand up for yourself. Stand up for yourself and your belief systems. Also on the card, we've got this angelic lady. She's pouring 2 jugs of water and creating what I would call like a stream. So that's talking about you emptying all of your emotions, letting go of that old energetic emotional baggage, perhaps that you've been holding for some time, and letting it flow, letting it go through you. And you can do this by walking out in nature, manifesting. You can also do this by setting more positive intentions and just allowing things to be and allowing them to flow, rather than holding on to an older version of you that doesn't exist anymore in this new timeline that you are stepping and walking in. She's also nurturing, as you can see, with those emotions. She's nurturing a plant, or I would describe that as a new life, a new version of yourself. So by letting these emotions go, you're actually paying it forward to your new version that you're stepping into. You're actually allowing yourself to thrive and flow more with non-resistance. So watch out for that. It's in a woodland setting, this scene there as well, so that would connect with nature. Trees are your friend, is what I've been told, and I'm being shown you hugging a tree and releasing some of these emotions and getting recharged and actually listening to that true calling coming from your soul there. You're going to feel that calling to be around or near woodland this week. So pay attention and follow that inspiration when you can there. There's a few stars in the background there, so that would indicate, again, as the card suggests, you are a star. Stop giving your power to other people and start and reclaiming the truth of you are with your own individual power there. So that's what we picked up for this week. I hope that resonates with you. Thank you for hearting, liking, commenting and sharing. If you've enjoyed what you've seen on here and you would like to help and support the work that I do, I have got a Buy Me a Coffee link either above or below this video, which is a virtual tip jar. So all of your generous donations will be gratefully appreciated and used in accordance with the spiritual work that I do to help people raise their vibration and ascend on their spiritual pathway. If you're wanting any of my services, such as a private reading or card readings or whatever, go over to my website, www.glenboddicespiritualmedium.com, or you can contact me and book in with me on Facebook, Glenn Boddice Spiritual Medium. Join me every Monday at 4 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time with my radio show From Beyond with Glenn Boddice, talking about all things spiritual, paranormal and self-help on www.pulsetalkradio.com. Have a fantastic week, everybody. Bye for now. Well, it sounds like we're all set for a very interesting week this week. And also having the right to change our mind at the last minute and just to tune in with ourselves as we do so, because trusting the vibes of our heart will also help us move seamlessly through our week ahead. So it sounds like because we're moving into spring, the energies are changing and we're changing and evolving with nature as we nurture our own nature. So I hope you've enjoyed this week's show. I hope you've enjoyed the content that has been shared with you. Again, all of this information is from spirit. It's either been influenced or directly channeled, as you've heard there as well. If you do have any stories to share of a paranormal nature, self-help, or even a spiritual evolution, then it would be fantastic to hear from you. And you can do that by reaching out to me at www.glennboddicespiritualmedium.com. You can also email me at glennboddice@live.co.uk, and it would be fantastic to also hear if you have any feedback on the show or any questions that you have in mind of a paranormal nature or of a spiritual or self-help nature that perhaps I can either read out on the air or help you in some way, shape or form on your pathway, on your journey. So whatever it is you're doing this week, I wish you a very successful one. Follow your heart, do the things that you love, and stay curious. Question these paranormal activities around the home and, be open-minded and objective as well as you're experiencing them. So you can join me next Monday at 4 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time with this very show, From Beyond with Glenn Boddice, on www.pulsetalkradio.com. So I look forward to your presence and your company there. Have a fantastic week, everybody. Bye for now. Take care and God bless.
Thank you for listening to From Beyond. For more information about what products and services Glenn provides, go to Glenn Boddice, spiritual medium